host make predictions and then never admit they're wrong. Yeah, that's not Mackie and Judd. This is the place where we just totally own our horrible predictions.
Write this down.
And eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Write that down.
It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackie and Judd.
And just a little tease for you for later in this episode. You know, people always rip on us, boys. They always rip on us. That'll never happen. What are you guys speculating on this? You guys always talk about the 49ers, right?
Yeah, Score North sucks.
Why would they trade Trey Lance? They've got all that capital sunk into him.
Mackie.
Some interesting, credible reports and steam surrounding Trey Lance. May or may not include the Vikings that we will get to later on here.
Wow. What a tease. I'm very excited for this.
Daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. Phil Mackey, Judd Zulgad, our executive producer, Declan Goff, and we are also the only show in America that does what we are about to do, which is put statistics next to our predictions. It's a segment we call Write That Down. By the way, I feel like my StreamYard thing kicked back to a totally different screen here. But I'm somehow still on camera.
Yeah, we're seeing you from very low.
I'm on camera on my other computer.
Yeah, you're coming in very low.
I'm going to give you a higher angle on old Macadac here, Dex.
Oh,
right. I'm going to produce Purple Daily on the fly here, and you'll see old Macadac from the top angle where God was meant to see old Macadac, and then we'll put.
May I say that Write That Down in the past week has taken, there he is. There's Macadac, higher angle.
There we go. That's right.
That Write That Down has taken the next step where I'm going to say right now, Sports Dad's job, potentially in jeopardy. After I advised on a text thread with all of you, our boss in Vegas,
oh, gosh.
to take the Wolves and the 8 points that they were getting in game one because it's game one. Yeah, have some fun. Take the Wolves. And then I think almost to a certain point, tortured throughout the rest of that game. As our boss enjoyed more and more cocktails.
6 cocktails in, just texting up a storm at midnight. How are they only at 80 points?
By the end, I was offering him my guest room if things had really gone sideways with the bet.
Yeah. So, listen, this is for entertainment purposes only here, these predictions on both Purple Daily and on Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd. So here's how it works on Purple Daily. 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. And listeners, if you want to be like Nathan and participate, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app, and we'll get you locked. And sometime in May or June, hopefully we'll get you signed up. By the way, I don't think I shouted out TCL yet here and all the chaos to start this episode. So hello, TCL, on board for another year with Purple Daily. Thank you for supporting the show. No matter what you watch, TCL has award-winning TVs for any budget, any space, all with stunning picture quality. And TCL makes more than just TVs. They offer mobile products, audio devices, home appliances. TCL brings you joy and simplicity through innovative technology. Learn more at TCL.com. Boys, nothing came off the board this week because we are in the eye of the storm, the calm before the storm that is the NFL draft. And so the stats remain the same as they were last week. Listeners have a 100% completion percentage, but they don't have many attempts yet. A lot of the predictions are pushed kind of out in the future. So listeners, we'll see what that looks like after the draft. Judd, you're at 71.4% completions with 3 touchdowns, which leads the league. I'm at 54.5% with 2 touchdowns. Declan at 31.3%, no touchdowns. All time, Judd has the highest completion percentage at 35.7. I have the most touchdowns at 35. So there's your very abbreviated accountability session here. Let's get guest listener predictor Nathan in the house here. I think we're having some camera troubles with Nathan, so he's just going to be a creepy black screen and a doctored voice. Nate, what's going on, man?
Hey guys, how are we doing?
Pretty good. What is your background as a Vikings fan? What got you hooked and when?
I think I've been hooked my whole life. Just grew up in a Minnesota sports loving family. I guess we just love the pain and misery of all sorts of Minnesota sports, and especially the Vikings, I guess.
Yeah. So what was like the first moment where you were ever mad at the Vikings?
I think the one that sticks out for me was the 2009 NFC Championship game. I think I cried at the end of that game, and I remember rewatching it the next day and just still couldn't believe that happened. And I still feel like that Super Bowl that year should have been ours.
You rewatched it?
I rewatched
masochist.
it. Yeah. It was painful, but it still it made it real. I guess reality hadn't set in, and I needed to watch it a second time.
Nathan's like, I just want to feel something.
The pain. I wanted to feel something. I wanted to feel the pain again.
Oh my gosh.
Write it down.
All right, so here's how it's going to work. Nathan, you're going to start off. It'll go Nathan, Judd, Declan, back to me. We'll make 3 trips around the room. The predictions must be quantifiable and either football or show related. So you're up first, Nathan.
All right. Well, I know the listeners currently have that 100%, I guess, completion percentage. We'll see if we can keep that rolling, but I've got a couple that'll come off the board here after the draft, and then one I'll push further out. But with my first prediction, write this down. Hendon Hooker will not be drafted in the first round.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of feel, I don't know. It's
a lot of controversy there. I can't decide yet.
I think what's tough is it's likely that most teams don't feel like he's a first rounder, that it's a reach. But if you're going to draft him in the second round, especially since he's probably going to sit this season, right? You want the 5-year contract, not the 4. So I could see just a team reaching at pick 32, kind of like the Vikings did with Bridgewater, right? Just get that guy on a 5-year contract. But
yeah, exactly. Just being 25, coming off the AL. I've seen him mocked in the top 5 in a few legitimate mock drafts, and I just don't think that's realistic.
Yeah. All right, Judley.
Yeah, I'd be shocked by that.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
So I'm going to actually push the majority of my draft predictions to the eve of the draft next week. So I'm going to make predictions here that aren't as draft specific, starting with this one. Well, I feel like the eve of the draft will allow me some clarity. Why am I being questioned? I was explaining myself.
We're just making noises.
Does anyone care to explain why this seems odd? When it's
he's triggered. He's triggered.
Is this what happens with Don? Is this how you react?
This is write that down.
Is this how Judd gets at home? Okay.
Boy.
No, Don's more like that, and then I'm like, let's all calm down. By the way, that's a bad thing to say. Never tell your spouse to calm down, Declan.
I've never done that. I know.
Yeah, don't say you need to calm down. Never say that. Say something like you're right, I'm wrong, but don't say.
We'll figure it out is my go-to. That is never always interpreted well. We'll figure it out. That's always.
Well, don't say that right now. Like if we're gonna. Okay, write this down. Danielle Hunter will not attend the Vikings mandatory minicamp. So that's a finable offense. That's a 3-day camp. That's mandatory. So like right now, he's not going to be fined. He can't be. I think at the most, if he's not at OTAs, he starts to lose a potential workout bonus, which is chump change to a guy like Danielle. But anyway, he will not attend the Vikings mandatory minicamp.
Is that May or June? Just
June.
Want to know how much time until. Okay.
Early June, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. All right, Dex.
All right.
Write this down.
I'll go with this one first. I'm going to give you guys the quarterback draft order of 4 quarterbacks. So obviously in the concrete order 1 through 4. So Bryce Young's going 1 overall. That's pretty much locked in. The next 3 in this exact order.
I don't think that's locked in.
Isn't he like a minus 1,500 on the money line or something?
Thor told us last week the times they are changing.
Oh,
there's rumblings. But anyway, you go ahead. You do you.
Keep making noises, I guess, just like you were doing with Judd. Huh. The 4 quarterbacks in order off the board. Write this down. What would be? Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis. Those 4 quarterbacks in that exact order will be the first 4 quarterbacks off the board.
Okay.
Write it down.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Write this down.
Okay, write this down. I'm going to get out. I think there's too much steam here. Trey Lance will be traded before training camp. I'll say before 49ers training camp because some of the days are different. Trey Lance will be traded before 49ers training camp.
Okay.
Too much smoke. Too much steam for this not to be a thing. I love how the Niners have played this all. Brock Purdy's going to be fine. We believe in him. And then Brock Purdy goes on a podcast. He's got like a bionic elbow still, right? And he's like, I might miss the whole season. The Niners like, he's fine. We're going to win the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy. And now there's Trey Lance rumors.
His
the
arm's
49ers.
gone. But you know what? This shows
he's throwing left-handed now.
This shows a very important thing, which is teams like San Fran aren't afraid to move off what they perceive to be potential mistakes.
Yeah. I was about to say something else, but I might save it for another prediction.
Oh, okay. So now we're hiding our takes. Whatever.
You're thrown off. You're lashing out now.
Yeah.
I am.
Nathan, what's your second prediction?
All right. Declan was about to absolutely snipe my prediction, but I think I'm going to stick with it because it is different.
Nice.
I will do the same prediction with the quarterback draft order. I believe Bryce Young will be the first quarterback off the board, followed by CJ Stroud. But I believe Will Levis will be drafted third, and Anthony Richardson fourth in the order of quarterbacks.
Interesting. Okay. Like, are you guys going out on the same limb
We
there?
did not coordinate that, by the way. Nathan and I were not coordinating that.
All right, Judd.
Okay. My next prediction is in the same vein as Phil's, but it's not the same, so it will hold. The 49ers opening day starting quarterback for the 2023 season is not on the roster.
Dude, that is exactly the prediction.
He's not on the roster.
Exactly.
Yeah, get a little dance. I got it first. Yeah, I'm lashing out.
Yeah. So with their week one starting quarterback, right? That's
correct. Yeah, because it's not Trey Lance, and it's not Sam Darnold.
Yep, that was definitely going to be my prediction.
All right.
You can one up me though.
Yeah,
Name
we'll
names.
see.
Name names, Mackie.
You all know where this is headed. It's all headed to one very obvious conclusion here. We just have to let the summer play out, maybe. All right, Declan.
All right, my next prediction. The Vikings will be involved with another trade involving an NFC North team on draft weekend. I'm going to give it the whole weekend.
Okay.
So they will
like
make
it.
another trade with the Bears, Packers,
Solid.
or Lions at some point throughout the draft. Write it down.
Okay.
Solid. It's good.
Okay. Write this one
Write
down.
it down. You like writing things down.
So, Judd, you made your Danielle Hunter prediction. You think this is going to drag and he's gonna wind up skipping the mandatory minicamp. I think the Vikings fully understand what the contract situation is here, that the accounting got out of control even before Kwesi came in, right? Like the accounting on Danielle Hunter's contract started to get wonky with Rick Spielman still here, if I remember right. And so Kwesi understands, all right, this accounting is not something that I necessarily would have done. We've known for a year he's not going to play on the $4.9 million base salary. So I think, write that down, the Vikings and Danielle Hunter will come to a resolution on his contract before mandatory minicamp starts. Mm-hmm. And a resolution could be a new contract, a trade. It could be any number of things. But they will come to a resolution before mandatory minicamp.
Okay.
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 Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right. Nathan, your third and final prediction.
All right. My last write that down prediction is that the Vikings will win the NFC North and repeat as the 3 seed in the NFC this season. Okay. Write that down.
All right. Good stuff, Nathan. All right. Well, since you've got this life-changing platform here right now, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that brought you to this pinnacle moment?
I'd like to thank my wife, and I'd like to thank my father-in-law and my friend Milky Blake.
Milky Blake.
Yeah, big Vikings fans.
Let's hear it for Milky. Let's get it. All right. Nathan, thank you for coming on, sir, and good luck with your predictions.
Thank you, guys.
All right, there he is. Guest listener predictor in the house, in a dark room somewhere. In a dark room, maybe with Aquacide. I don't know. You probably want to not have Aquacide in a dark room. It's not meant for that.
You could keep it in a dark room, so when you go out on the lake and you're on the dock, just like this for the YouTube channel and the audio audience, you're looking out at the lake. This is Shell Lake, Wisconsin, okay? Yes, I know. Cabins in Wisconsin. As I told you guys last week, you inherit the family cabin. You don't buy the family cabin, right? Aquacide can make that lake look crystal clear because there's nothing worse. You're finally getting your feet in the water. and you had that nasty lake weed and algae, it just, total vibe killer as I have a couple surlies in off the dock. I don't want to step on that. That's not the case at Shell Lake. That shouldn't be the case at your cabin either. Go to aquaside.com for Aquaside pellets, help you remove that product. These are safe products too. They can walk you through how to use them. It's a do-it-yourself product. Go to aquaside.com to remove that nasty lake weed and algae.
Also, a shout out to our friends at Athletic Greens. So, game changer for me personally, I discovered Athletic Greens products 6 years ago. And AG1 specifically is like nutritional insurance to start your day. All right. If you're not great always about hitting all the right notes with your diet, think about how great it would be if you could wake up in the morning and you see me on the video here on YouTube and get 75 high-quality ingredients that give you important daily nutrients. Boom, right out of the gate. One scoop mixed with your water in the morning, or you could do it maybe in the afternoon if you suffer from like midday brain fog. Energy levels heightened for me. Gut health improved for me. Athletic Greens AG1. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/purpledaily. That's athleticgreens.com/purpledaily.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Okay. Judd, what's your third and final prediction?
All right, I'm going to make a Vikings regular season prediction. Write this down. Lewis Cine will lead the Vikings in interceptions in 2023.
Wow.
Lewis Cine is going to start. He's going to play. I believe that the B-flow system will be opportunistic for safeties. I think Harrison Smith is going to be used more probably as a rover. Like he actually had a good year pick-wise last year because he was in the shell constantly.
Oh.
I think that's going to create opportunities for Cine to be the opportunistic guy and a ball hawk, and that Lewis Cine will lead the Vikings in picks in the B-flow system. Yes, I'm going to call him B-flow from now on. It sounds like we're friends.
If that happens, I would assume if he leads the team in picks, he had a pretty good year, right? Then yeah. I think we start to look at the first Kwesi draft a lot differently.
Yeah.
That it took a while to get there, but through injury and otherwise, and a schematic change, boom, they found their successor basically at that position.
And I think that my biggest problem with the first Kwesi draft right now is that more guys didn't get chances, but we don't know yet. Like it's totally fair to say we don't know. Like Cine didn't play, got hurt. I just feel like there were probably opportunities to give guys chances, and for the most part, they didn't. But the perception of that draft by the end of this coming season easily could be completely different.
Yeah.
Easily.
Okay. All right,
Write it
John.
down. You like writing things down.
All right, Dex, what's your third and final prediction?
All right, last one for me with Dalvin Cook's future a little bit in limbo, and I'm assuming he's going to be off the roster. This is not part of my prediction, but that's just kind of how my gut is what my gut is telling me. So write it down. The Vikings will draft a running back in the 2023 draft. They will draft a running back in the 2023 draft. Write it down.
All right.
All right. Speaking of...
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Speaking of running backs, gentlemen, I'm going to make, is this my first XFL prediction? I don't know that I have any XFL predictions on the books. Declan has a few.
Yeah, they haven't gone well.
I feel like you've stopped making XFL predictions.
Yeah,
you a little gun shy?
I've a little gun shy. I'm gonna wait to the USFL. I know last year it helped me resurrect.
They've started Dex.
My completion. Has it?
Did it?
Yeah, it started like 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
They're playing simultaneously right now. One's on Fox.
I think you're going to get because the XFL regular season ends, I think, this weekend, and then we get 2 rounds. You get the semifinals and then the XFL championship. So I don't know if old Dex can resist an XFL championship game.
St. Louis, just ride with them. It's the Battlehawks, right? St. Louis.
They're not even the best team though. The Battlehawks are 6-3.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
No, well, maybe you should.
Maybe you should stop.
Maybe you should
make
just
assumptions.
Stop.
And make predictions.
Should I listen? Should I stop talking and listen?
Stop writing XFL checks that your ass can't cash.
It's not your ass.
So here's my prediction. It's kind of a parlay, but I'll just make it in one form here. The MVP of the XFL championship game will be running back Abram Smith of the DC Defenders. All right? I'm going to get out in front of this. The playoffs have not started yet. I think DC is a lock to get in. They have the best record. But we're going to have a running back as the MVP of the XFL championship game. So they have to get there, and then they probably have to win it.
That's a touchdown.
And Abram Smith has to be the one that has the biggest game.
Yep.
He is the bell cow of the XFL. So, it's not like a total dark horse here, but multiple things have to happen for Abram Smith to be the MVP of the XFL championship game.
Who is the Defenders QB?
Is it Jordan Teamu? I believe is how you pronounce it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Jordan Teamu. Yeah. He's just behind A.J. McCarron and Ben DiNucci for passing yards in the XFL.
Great cowboy.
Dude,
Great
Paxton,
cowboy.
Paxton Lynch has played 5 games also in the XFL. So there you have it. Those of you write that down. Predictions, your accountability session, and we'll make probably a bunch of draft predictions for next week. But boy, we have some more interesting steam here. I think we should start with this is from Ian Rappaport. Right? Reckless speculation. When reckless speculation turns very real. Ian Rappaport, NFL Network, 2 hours ago as we sit here recording this late Wednesday morning. Sources. The 49ers have received inquiries from several teams looking into a potential trade for former number 3 pick Trey Lance. The conversations have been the result of San Francisco fielding the calls, not making the calls, with teams aware that Brock Purdy is likely the future starter. What do you make of this? Let me ask you this. Do you think the Vikings are one of the teams that called the 49ers to ask about Trey Lance?
First of all, I totally believe that Trey Lance is in play. So I'll make that extremely clear. I call BS on their not making phone calls. Okay.
Well, that's the interesting part of this report is that, okay, Rappaport's super plugged in. Clearly someone from the Niners wanted that part put in this, right?
Correct.
Okay, you can tell people. So we're like, what are we, a week before the draft? Okay, let's drum up some interest.
Yep, we're open for business. That's what this is.
We're open for business, but we're not soliciting business.
Right, exactly right.
We're open to the public. They can walk in the door, but we're not walking out the door. You can come into our store.
Right.
This is being framed by the 49ers very clearly to me.
Despite the fact that they are shopping at Macy's, they're at Donaldson's, they're at Dayton's, they're at Woolworths, they're at Powers, they're at Von Mauer. They are
The Buckle.
So first of all, this is totally true. I totally buy this, but it's being framed in a BS way. So here's what I would like to do. And I'm not saying anything is going to happen, okay? So this is not like I'm not reporting this. I am recklessly speculating, but I'm putting pieces of a puzzle together as I am wont to do in April when it's silly season. Let's combine the Mike Florio report. Industry sources say the Vikings were talking about Kirk Cousins at the Combine. Not like they weren't like putting it out there. To me, that was somebody confirmed, but says it can't be like put out there. It was, these are internal league talks, okay? With the 49ers are getting phone calls. Well, let's go back. Kwesi has deep ties to San Francisco. And the 49ers right now do not have in their mind with basically a ready-to-go roster, a starting quarterback on that roster. How can you not come to the conclusion that while nothing might get done, again, nothing might get done, all you stands out there, all you Cousins Crusaders, I'm not saying something's going to get done, but you would have to be a very naive, harebrained human being not to believe that there have been discussions exactly like this. Hey, what's up with Trey Lance? Yeah, not too much. What's up with Kirk?
I mean, isn't it? It continues to be the most obvious trade in recent NFL history that has yet to be consummated, right?
Yeah.
Everything you just said about the 49ers, they literally have one of the 3 best rosters in the NFL. Their defense is stacked. Their offense has skill position players out the wazoo. Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle. Like, their offensive line. Everything about this team, the scheme, the system. They find gems like Brock Purdy in the 7th round. They draft fairly well. They just need, and Brock Purdy might not be able to play until the season starts. Yeah. Are they? And you never know. You never know with this window. You never know if it's going to be 1 year, 3 years. It's already been open for like large chunks of 5 years for the Niners. You know, they've been to the Super Bowl. They've been to the NFC Championship game. This might be their last shot. Christian McCaffrey might not have another year of elite level play. George Kittle's getting older. You're really going to go into the season with Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, and Trey Lance at that position and cross your fingers and hope? And if you're the Vikings, I'm sorry, like I hate to say this, it's Purple Daily. We want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. It probably isn't happening this year. They don't have a number 2 receiver. They're rebuilding their entire defense, right? There's still a bunch of questions about the offensive line.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know that it's likely to happen, but it would seem likely that these two teams, based on the steam from Florio, now based on the fact that the Niners are fielding phone calls about Trey Lance, they've almost certainly talked about this. We just don't know where it's going to go.
And let's go down the path here, too, guys, of something I feel like is not being done enough right now among fans of the Vikings and media, okay? Let's go down the path of getting past what we think the Vikings are thinking, and let's interpret what they're doing, what the message is, and where this is going. And Phil, the one thing that I would say is while I agree with you, I don't think that this is certainly a Super Bowl team. They are, in my estimation, with how they're trending, going in the right direction. Like, they're making the moves to build back up there, okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, this is not a, 1 year in, this seems like, the draft was no good in 22, so it's all screwed. The Vikings are making moves here that I really like and are smart and are very, and this is the most important word in this entire conversation, calculated. This team is far more calculated now than Rick Spielman was. Doesn't mean that Spielman was a bad executive, but it does mean that Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah and KOC and the entire franchise is far different now. And so let's go to Trey Lance, okay? As I talked about after your write that down prediction, the San Francisco 49ers are in the new group of teams and the new thinking of, we traded a lot to take him third, but it really didn't work so far, and we don't have time to make it work. So instead of woe is us, everyone has to be fired, it's the 3rd overall pick, you guys all suck, we're going to move off this guy. And then you got Kwesi, who is actively trading in the division. Again, something Rick Spielman never would have done. An in-season trade for Hawkinson, which, by the way, was great, but an in-season trade with the Lions? Are you kidding me? So the thinking is completely different. Now, the other part is this. Look at what they're doing, and I like it, but look what the Vikings are doing to their roster. They are literally going through with a red pen and deleting the names of veteran players who a lot of people like, because you know what? Those players are not going to win them a Super Bowl. And so, I feel like we get pushback, and the majority of people, just to be clear again, who watch our show are incredibly smart. I think we're on the same page. This is probably more of a social media Twitter thing, but I feel like we get pushback from people who don't understand that the times they are a-changing. And the Minnesota Vikings and a team like San Francisco don't think like you think that they think. Mm-hmm. I'm old, but I'm adaptable, baby. And you can't look at where the tea leaves are going and tell me, they're not going to make that move. They are literally going through their entire roster with a red pen and deleting people like football hitmen.
Well, and Trey Lance fits the profile of players that Kwesi has already acquired. Mm-hmm. Former 1st and 2nd round picks that maybe aren't quite performing up to what you thought, but they're still like 24, 25 years old. They still have plenty of time to get better, right? Look how many he's already taken a shot on a handful of guys just like this, trading for, you already mentioned it, TJ Hawkinson, trading for Jalen Reagor. They're not all going to hit Blacklock. These are former 1st and 2nd round picks. Their stock has dipped a little bit. He feels like, okay, let's buy low on this stock, bring him into our system, our culture, Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson, Christian Darrisaw. We've got some good things going here. Brian Flores. And let's see if we can get the most out of that player. And Trey Lance would fit that to a T if they could pull it off. Which brings me to
I want a mock.
ESPN.com. My God. Bravo to ESPN.com. This is peak reckless speculation here, boys, okay? This isn't just a mock draft on ESPN.com this morning from Bill Barnwell, football analytics and speculative reporter. This is trades for all 31 first-round picks. He has 31 teams in his mock, and he has all of them making trades. And just to be clear, he says each trade exists in its own universe. So it's not like a chain of events that happens. It's let's take each one in its own universe.
Love it.
He says, I'm attempting to use each team's track record and current situation to judge what they're likely to consider, not what they should do. So he's kind of saying, this isn't what I would do or what I think. This is what I think they're capable of doing based on their current front office and their current situation, okay?
I love this.
All right, I'm not gonna go through all these, but he's got the Panthers trading back with the Texans. He's got the Texans in their own universe trading for Lamar Jackson and giving up the number 2 overall pick and some other stuff. So you can see kind of where this goes, right? You're probably going to see Lamar Jackson in here a few times. But let's go down to the Vikings with the 23rd overall pick. They don't make the pick.
Oh, the pick is not in.
Instead, this appears to be, is this a 3-way trade? This is hard to track.
Oh, boy.
Here's the trade. The Minnesota Vikings get Trey Lance, the 102nd overall pick, and then, let's see here, also a 2nd-round pick from Philadelphia. Okay. The Niners would get the 21st overall pick, but I think he means the Vikings' 1st-round pick, so he's got this mixed up a little bit.
Okay.
And Nick Mullins, so they'd send Nick Mullins back to San Francisco. Okay. And then the Eagles would get 2 third-round picks from San Francisco and a 2025 4th-round pick from the Vikings. So I think he's got this mix. So the Vikings would give up a 1st-round pick, and they'd give up a 4th-round pick and Nick Mullins.
Okay.
And in return, they'd get Trey Lance, a 3rd, and a 2nd from Philadelphia. I feel like this is a run to the bank before they know that, like, you stole. Like, I'll read this. It says, here's how the Vikings get their quarterback of the future, and the Niners get back into the first day of the draft. Mm-hmm. It feels like this 3-way trade should somehow involve Kirk Cousins ending up with the Niners, but cap constraints on both sides make that impossible. I disagree with that, but if this were the NHL or the NBA, we would include a 4th team to make some of the money work due to Cousins' contract, but the NFL would likely frown upon that. And he basically says there's like two different trades among 3 different teams here. The Niners would send their 3rd-year quarterback Lance and 3 third-round picks to the Vikings. So it's Lance and 3 third-round picks. Mm-hmm. And the Vikings would give up the number 23 overall pick. He keeps saying number 21, but it's not the number 21. So that's where I'm getting thrown here.
Yep.
Right? And then the Vikings, in a second part of the trade, would package number 99 and 101 along with a future 4th rounder in a deal to the Eagles to move up to the bottom of the 2nd round. So the Vikings would end up with no 1st-round pick, but a selection toward the bottom of the 2nd and 3rd rounds and Trey Lance, a long-term replacement for Cousins. And I guess he would just sit behind Cousins for a year. What are your thoughts on this? Is bonkers, but what are your thoughts on this?
I don't get it at all because Trey Lance's contract is ticking. Like, why would you have Trey? If you're going to get Trey Lance, you need to see him, and you need to use the rookie contract, what's left. So that would make 0 sense. Like, if you drafted a quarterback, okay, I get that with Kirk starting, or at least I get that more. But if you're going to acquire Trey Lance, you're going to plug and play him and find out. So it makes 0 sense.
Well, like,
I appreciate the effort.
Sense.
I appreciate the effort.
The Lance coming to the Vikings makes sense. I think the compensation makes some sense, but
San Francisco needs the starter.
I know, that's what doesn't make sense.
Like the Nick Mullins thing makes no. I don't get it.
Yeah, so now San Francisco is going to roll. So now their situation is going to be injured Brock Purdy, Nick Mullins, and Sam Darnold in a Super Bowl year.
You know, the thing about Purdy, too, as good as he did look, and he looked great for a period of time, partially because his coach and the offensive scheme is good. You know, Phil, to go back to the list that you've been referencing for a few weeks now about where guys are picked in relation to success, even if Purdy comes back at full strength, there's like no guarantee there. Like I feel like a guy who just had essentially Tommy John. We're just assuming, well, once he comes back, plug and play, and he's great.
Yeah.
San Francisco's not dumb. They're not going. They're going to assess that. So I guess I don't understand the media as well. Purdy looked great, and so he was the last pick of the draft for a reason. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess I'm confused. But yeah, that doesn't. I appreciate Bill's efforts, and I'm sure it took a lot of work to come up with independent trades for each team. But that doesn't make any sense to me from the Vikings standpoint of you get Trey Lance, but you have him sit.
But it's super fun, and ESPN.com just
it's
pulled
really
the trigger
fun.
on 31 different trades. So
Yeah. No, I'm not
super
trying.
interesting.
Bill, you go, Bill.
You go, guy. You go. Wow, that bit of reckless draft speculation and trade speculation presented
Reckless speculation
by Federated Mutual Insurance Company. The opposite of reckless. Very responsible. A responsible guiding hand for your business. A group of people that they have over 100 years of experience as a company, and they bring that to your business. It's all about risk management, tools, and resources to help you maximize the success and the profitability of your business. Find out how they can help you at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. All right, another round of predictions over on Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd, our other daily show, as we count down the days to the Surly Park Tavern draft party. A week from Thursday, 6 o'clock start time, 7 o'clock we go live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. We'll see you over there. Daily Vikings Entertainment, Purple Daily.